I love you.
Such a touching moment. Wow. Thank you, Pastor You and Mrs. Ruth. I'm really getting so much insight here. And I know that you're getting a lot of information from this. Like, love is the basis for marriage, for any relationship. And with love, you can gain as much as you want. The love we're talking about is not the love of the world, because if it's the love of the world, like Mrs. Ruth said, she said that love is not enough. But we're talking about the love of God, and it's all encompassing. That's amazing. So let's go over to how you've been able to sustain your communication. Has there been a time where the communication was in any way there was a dysfunction, or people were so busy, or anything happened, and how were you able to resolve that, Mrs. Ruth?
Something about communication is they have to be understanding. I get tested easily. Okay, that's also this bad part of me. I get tested easily and I get angry easily. So, but he is more patient. You get. So in communicating, we can't have two the same people. I cannot be tense and he'll be tense at the same time. I cannot be angry and you'll be angry at the same time. No, but when something happens, I tackle it like it as it's just landing. Before it lands on the floor, I'm already tackling it, you understand? I'm tackling it, I'm giving it hot, you understand? And he's not like, okay, let's wait. Let it land first, let it cool down first, you understand? And then let's now sensibly talk about it in a sensible manner. But I'm not that kind of person. I'm sometimes it affects our communication. Sometimes I'm already way angry. You understand? Before we will find solution to the issue, I have to now bring back myself and calm down myself. I'm way angry. He is not even angry. You understand? He's thinking of solution. So I think the thing is a balance of personalities. Okay, we can't have two the same personalities. I cannot be hot and you'll be hot at the same time. I confess, I say that's my bad part. As good as I can be, I don't know if I'm but I thank God that he is a better communicator. He's a more patient person. You understand? He's more patient with me, and I think that has really helped our communication. It has really helped our communication. Even me now, I'm learning, because when we first got married, any small thing is the one that is saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At the point, I now realize that this man is always saying, I'm sorry. It's true that he's wiser than me. You understand? Me too, I should get to a point where I should be the first to say, I'm sorry. So little by little, I started learning that, okay, when things happen, I just wait for the other person to say I'm sorry. Even though you are right. Those times when he says I'm sorry, he's saying I'm sorry, I'm angry for the fact that he's saying I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get that part.
Why are you saying I'm sorry? Somebody's apologizing, I see angry for the fact that he's apologizing. But God being so good, God helped us to understand each other.
Yeah.
And then help us balance that aspect.
That's why have you been upset that she has not said I'm sorry?
Have I been upset that she has not said I'm sorry? Maybe no, maybe yes. There are times I said to myself, okay, if this lady does not apologize, let it be so. I will go and sleep like that. But my heart is such that even someone was still telling me yesterday, he said, how can you make your son to respect your word if you are laughing with him like this? My heart is such that if I shout at you now, before 5 minutes I'll come and beg you and say, I'm sorry for shouting at you. So at times when I decide that if she doesn't say I'm sorry or she doesn't apologize, that's but I'll just come to her and say, hey, do you know I love you? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll still come back. I can't take it. That I'm not even afraid that Jesus will come the following day, but I just can't take it that I'm sleeping without being in good terms with my wife. For me, I like to tackle issues from an understanding point of view. So I believe that if something does not cool down, you don't know the color. If there's a matter now and you want to address it immediately, I'm not like that. I like to see, okay, let's analyze everything first. Think about it, then let's talk objectively about it. You know, so I'm like that. And for me, at times, if you offend me now, I can decide not to talk for 2 days. Not like I'm fighting you. I won't talk about it. But I can decide not to even address it until when I see that you are in a very better mood. I'm in a very better mood. I can now say, okay, that's it. We should have done it like this. We should have done it like this. But she wants to address it now. And I'm like, okay, sorry. We can talk about this later. No, okay. Talk about it. I'll just be quiet. Another reason why I don't want to also talk about it now is what she said earlier. I noticed that she's emotional. She's a very good person at heart, very soft-hearted person. And so she's emotional. So when she talks about a matter, 2-3 minutes, her voice gets louder, her emotion begins to pop in, she begins to cry. If I don't explain to you that I was not the one that offended her, you won't know. So I don't want a situation where people say I'm a very playful person. I can have wahala on the outside, but in the heart I'm very gentle, you know. So people would say that, this guy don't deal with this girl too much. Pastor, you get wahala. So I don't want that. I don't want a situation where she's crying and people are saying, Pastor, I don't want that. I want a situation where we can handle matters like mature people and talk about it, and it doesn't leak, it doesn't become issues that people will say, sorry. So that's me. That's me.
That's a place of understanding.
Yes, understanding one and understanding. I've come to realize that, okay, there are things that is peculiar to her, that if I don't handle with wisdom, I would just spoil things the more. But she was saying something about somebody yesterday. She said, if I shout too much now, if I talk to her now, she will start crying. And in my heart, I was like, is that not you? You know? And I said to her, I didn't say it to her because it could also trigger something. So I felt like, see, you are talking about somebody when you are like that, you know? So I don't want situations where I make my wife cry. I said 3 things before I even got engaged to her. I said 3 things you do to people is you make them happy, you make them trust you, and you leave them better than the way you met them. So
wait, you make them happy?
You make them happy.
You make them trust you?
You make them trust you.
You leave them better than you met them.
Yeah. So if I'm in your life and you're not always happy, and you're always having trust issue with me, and I'm not making you better, then I'm not achieving anything. So my attempt at making her happy is also the reason why I don't want her to get tensed when we have to iron out certain issues. Let's discuss it in a more relaxed way.
Right.
Okay, and I don't want to betray her trust by doing things that will make her feel that this guy cannot be trustworthy. Then I'm always trying to make an impact in her life. That's why I'm excited she's saying that she also has learned the fact that she has to apologize even when she's right. I believe in that a lot. Even when I'm right, I want to apologize and
yes. Right. I got a few things here where the place of understanding yourself is very paramount. Then understanding each other and what triggers the other person is very necessary. So that's a key part of communication in relationship. That's a deep lesson to learn. Don't you think so? I hope you're really enjoying this session because I am enjoying myself in every of the stories. And well, of course, you can agree with me. This is a real session, unscripted, unedited. Nothing is hidden. The leaders are serving us hot. Okay, let's get to family. Thanks be to God. Light came into the picture 2 years later. So how has it been having a child in marriage? What has been the changes and changes so far?
One of the changes you just notice is that you can't think for two people alone. So we couldn't go for our second year anniversary because she was some months pregnant. We couldn't go for our third year anniversary because we have a baby. We couldn't go for our fourth because we're expecting another baby, and I'm not sure we'll go for our fifth year anniversary because. So I think children change a lot of things, but you must decide that you won't change. So what did we do? We didn't go for our anniversary. Doesn't mean that we didn't go out. Just that we didn't do it the way we wanted to. So we would have traveled, but we just, because we couldn't travel with this, how many months? 3 months. We couldn't just travel, so we just did it around. So for us, it changes a lot of, and again, you want to sleep with your wife and the baby is turning 360, pushing you guys apart. It's like, no. It doesn't, there are pictures to show that the baby is sleeping like this instead of like this. We try to put him on the floor, he comes back, and at times you want to sleep.
He stopped sleeping on his bed since
maybe
6 months.
Yeah, stop sleeping on his bed.
So let's sleep in our bed.
Wow, that's magical.
At times you are like hot. Let's go. And as you are trying to hold your wife, you just someone just enter, just like, oh, 1 killer. Maybe changes a lot of things, but you decide not to change. You decide to keep loving. You decide to maintain what you have for each other. Care changes. She has to care for a baby that wants to suck, and the husband wants to suck at times.
That's double responsibility.
The husband wants to say, is it for him or for me? He say, it's for him. So he was the one that paid your bride price. But you just have to keep loving your wife, irrespective of whatever the baby comes with. Babies at times are, they are different. Some are very gentle, some are very light. Is very active. It's very active, and it would always want to be around you. So you have to adjust a little, and at times God will give you wisdom to take him to grandma.
Grandma is the savior, yeah.
Grandma, we love you. So thank God for grandmas. You take to grandma so that we can have a beautiful time together. But in all and in all, it's a beautiful thing to have a family, to have your child, and you adapt by the day to whatever it comes with.
Okay, for me, the learning process of motherhood. Okay, I've never been a mother before. You learn by having your own child. Okay, so for me, it was that learning process. Okay, what should I allow as a mother? What should I disallow as a mother? How do I want this child to grow? And what are the godly virtues that I want to impose on this child? As early as Light was 6 months. But anytime I've started the process of when I wake up in the morning, I open my Bible. And I open my Bible, start reading like this. So he picks a finger and start doing like this. If Light is there, if you open your Bible in front of Light, next thing that he takes a finger, even though he doesn't know what you're reading, he takes a finger and starts going through. And sometimes I read passages of the Bible to him. So being intentional about how you want to raise your child, that's the learning process for me. Another thing is balancing being a mother with being a wife. Okay? Because this man can be very jealous of his own sons. But he's your son now. This is when lights came. I'll be giving him all the attention. So he's a small boy, you're all grown up. Like, yeah, okay.
And so he said, he made a statement. He said, I have two the same people in my life. One is big and
one is small. I have to like, okay, how do I manage the big person and the small person? How do I balance it up? You know, as a woman, God has blessed us with so many wisdom and capacity. You understand? Because we have to balance the home in so many ways so that one thing does not become lacking, you know, at the expense of another thing. So I decided, okay, I have to love my husband irrespective of whether there's light or not. And at the same time, I have to love my kid irrespective of whether I have a husband. And I'm trying to manage that. Now the third thing is responsibility. Okay, sharing responsibility. You know, he just wants to leave everything to me to do because I'm the mom. It's not possible. You understand? And sometimes we fight because of that. Okay, go and bath like, well, you know how to bath him better. So what if I know how to bath him better? Help me feed light, but you know how to feed him better. Whether I know how to do it better or not does not mean that you two shouldn't be able to help in some area.
And I would say, let Auntie do it.
So that's just some things that he feels that I can do better because I'm the one, which is actually true. You understand? But at the same time, there should be also this sharing of responsibility, which actually causes our argument most of the time. But then it's learning. Most times I said, like, come meet your dad. Let your dad feed you, and he does the feeding. And it's learning. It's not natural to him. But there's some men that naturally they do it. They just take care of kids naturally. To him, it's a big struggle. His work. It feels he doesn't know how to do it. You understand? But you have to teach for this kind of person. You know, I told you that some men that do it naturally. Now I cannot be fighting him now because I saw on YouTube that a man like you is taking care of his child. I can't fight him. It's natural for those kind of people. But here I have to teach him, take him gradually, step by step. I said that I was sick. I was on the bed and he took care of Light throughout the day. I was very surprised. I was like, eh? So you can think of like he changed Light's diaper. He hates changing that. If you want to punish him, just tell him to change diaper. He hates it. But he dated for Light. He practically took care of Light. So I got to realize that, well, he can actually do it if only he puts him through.
So there's something you said that really caught my attention. Is that part of comparison? Because I noticed that one friction people have in marriages is when they begin to compare their spouse's deficiency to another person's strength. Like you said, you didn't start comparing him to, okay, this person finds it easy to take care of a child, but you were patient enough to see him grow through that part. And that's something I've learned, and I know you must have also learned that part of comparison, patience, and understanding. And so there's also another part in childbearing and parental responsibility that I feel we should look into. Was there a time there was a conflict in parenting styles, or what do you think about people having conflict in their parenting style? Like someone says, you're spanking this child, I don't want to spank. You're beating this child, I don't want you to beat. Like, how do we come to that balance in marriage?
Okay, I like to go first because she does more of the strict parenting.
Discipline.
I'm a very soft person. I can get angry, but I take things very easy. So for me, in doing some parenting, I like to be very soft. I like to want to explain why you must be beaten or you should be beaten. I like to ensure that it's actually worth it before it is done. But in Africa and in Nigeria, in Lagos, in Yanokwaja, you don't do things like that most of the time. You should be proactive in ensuring discipline for your child. So what do? I allow her to do the discipline. Allow her, react the way she wants to react, knowing fully well that it's for the good of the child. But once in a while, when I feel that it is necessary for me to come in, I come in, and I know I'm soft, but I like her to do most of the
strict stuff.
Strict stuff. She's the bad cop.
Was there a time you felt like he's not really doing his job when it comes to
always. Because I don't understand why you want to spoil a child. I'm not a spoiling person. I love to, when you do something wrong, I spank. It's so obvious that in this marriage, I'm the hotter person. You understand? So, I believe that if you don't correct a child, it's not like I'm that harsh anyway, but I believe that if you don't correct a child when he does something wrong, you may not really know that thing that he did was wrong. Life is the kind of person that when he does something, he waits to see your reaction. You understand?
Yeah.
So your reaction determines his next step. You understand? So I try to okay, if what he thinks is that, okay, if I do this thing, how does my parents, the elderly people, react to it? They react to it, they react back to it. And if my reaction is soft, we'll do the game.
Okay.
But if I handle it with partners, right, don't do this. You understand? He holds back. And I discovered that he's still a child. I can't be treating him as if he's an adult. So I don't use the cane all the time. But when it's necessary, I do. But you see, my husband here, he loves to spoil children. Because actually, like you said, he's softer. So before he acts, it takes a long time. So it's not like conflict like that. It's just a balance.
Okay.
Like I said, I can't be hot and he'll be hot at the same time. The child has to fall back to someone. So sometimes when I beat light, it falls back to his dad. So all I do is out of love.
Okay.
What he does out of love. So love is balanced either way.
That's good. I like the part that you understand each other's parenting style and how you can always come in at every point in time. So Pastor, I want to ask you, do you think that there are that fatherhood, motherhood has some roles that are underrated? People just be like, I just want to be a father, or maybe they think being a father, being a mother is just something you can't escape as far as you're married. But do you think there should be some seriousness to the roles involved in fatherhood and motherhood?
Okay, let me start with myself. One of the things I did before I went into marriage was to go live with a family, and I did that intentionally. I didn't live with my dad. I didn't grow up with my dad. I grew up with my mom, and I know that there are deficiencies when it's just a single parent. There's no balance. So I wanted to see how a father treats his children. I wanted to see the interaction between the father and the children. I'd stayed with my elder brother, but perhaps I was used to, my elder brother, I just wanted to see what a family looks like. And I realized that parenting is something that is not ordinary. It's not something to be treated as, I just got married, gave birth, that's all, let's do as it. No. It's an intentional stuff. A man I stayed with, who happens to be a father, at some point told us, myself and my friend, that there are things he intentionally does to his children. And I saw the way they were growing. And for me, bringing it to my family, I realized that there are things you must do intentionally. Else, your children will become whatsoever they pick up. And we have tendencies of picking up a lot of things to the point that we become confused about our personality. So, there are certain programs you can never watch. Not because they would make him bad, but because we intentionally feel that they are not good for him. Even if it is within their age bracket to watch it, but we said it's not good. So I think that parents must be intentional about raising their children. If there's an advice I would give, I think that there should be a school of parenting where you would need to learn how to father, how to mother a child, how to be parents, how to handle matters, how to handle his different stages of growth and all that, You find out that the child is so shy at some point. At another point, he's so free with everybody. How do you handle it? How do you raise that child to be consistent in growth? So I think that parenting should be taken more seriously. Like she said, when Light was 6 months, we began to read Bible before him. There's something about Light. When he was about a year, he could operate the iPad very easily. Very easily. There was this time he was operating Subway Surf at maybe age 2. Explaining it very powerfully,
Wow.
So I took him to Barb Air and he was using the pad, and everybody around there were like, wow, this guy is special. And I just said within my heart that really, I don't see him as special. I see him as one who has been exposed to certain lifestyle, and the more you expose him to such lifestyle and the word of God and everything that is intentional, it picks it up. It becomes a part of him. And as the Bible says that train up a child in the way that he should go. It's important that you train. Training is not just talking. Training has a lot of activities in it. So parents must be intentional. You cannot say, I don't know how my child turned out to be like this. So no. You don't plant a cassava and you reap a yam. No, it's intentional.
Wow.
What you want to see in that child, first you act it out. You live it out. Then it becomes what you can hand over to that child. Remember that God not appeared. You cannot give what you don't have. So become what you want that child to be, and deliberately, intentionally show that child steadily. Light sang, his first song was funny. What's that song? God is light, light is God, Alpha and Omega. I wondered where he got that song. But that was his first song. So it meant that he had heard us sing it over and over to the point that it stuck into his mind. He couldn't even speak it well, but he was humming it over and over. So I think raising children is very intentional. And as they grow, you also need to keep watching. I tell people, just to cut the long story short, that 2 things are important in parenting. I think that place that said, except the Lord watches over the house. Those 2 things, build and watch. Psalm 121, I guess, 127. 1-7. He said, so you find out that they started by saying watching and building, then ended up everything about the child and the parent. So I said 2 things the parent must do over your child is to build and to watch. You can't build alone. You can't say, I'll send it to school, the best school, and you're not watching over that child. You need to build and watch. So those are 2 things we need to intentionally do.
Wow. That's a deep one. Parenting is an intentional act. You have to build and you have to watch. Well, this session has been a lot of insight. Like my head is shaking right now. And I think we need a break right now and here. I know you also agree with that. So I want to say thank you so much to Pastor Ayo and Mommy Ruth for gracing this session of marriage and family. It's been an amazing session. So join us next session where we'll be talking about ministry and marriage. Of course, you don't know yet the handle of ministry, and it has been an amazing one so far. So you want to know, how do they manage marriage and ministry all together? If you want to know that, then I want to see you in the next episode. But until then, keep living from every day, from within to without. Take care. Bye.